Okay. Have you thought about like prenups or things like that?
So,
what will happen?
We haven't talked about that yet, but since I have 3 kids and have established my life, we'd have to have something in play for that.
You know, at first, I was like, hold on a minute, this is different. And the reason why I was like, this is different is because, you see, it was Aaliyah's friend Jackie who was bringing up the whole prenup thing. And usually when it comes to prenup conversations or even post-nup conversations, usually it's always a person who's got the assets, who's trying to protect themselves, rather than the person that has less assets, right? So then I sat and I said to myself, so why would the friend bring this up? So of course, we're going to get to that. But before we get to that, I'm going to add this though. I'm going to say that it is a good thing on Aaliyah's behalf that the friend is bringing up the prenup, because it therefore identifies that Aaliyah is not with him for the short haul and she's with him for the long term. Do you see what I'm saying? Okay? Very, very key thing there.
Does everything get left to his kids and then she doesn't have anywhere to live because they get the house, you know?
And then boom, bam, it all came out. And it made sense now. Because of his age, and this is something that Jackie makes abundantly clear. She says, listen, you're an old man. She doesn't say he's an old man, but she basically says that he's an old man. And, you know, your time is ticking. And, you know, we know that you've got a life with your kids. So, you know, I've got to make sure that my friend is going to be looked after. If you end up passing away anytime soon, whether that be 5, 10, 15 years from now, okay? Where is your assets going to go to? Are they going to go to Aaliyah, or a part going to go to Aaliyah, and then the other part will go to your kids, or are they going to all your kids? So she makes a very, very good point for looking at her friend in this situation, do you see what I'm saying? And also at the same time, I would say that she wasn't in the wrong of bringing up neither, but she was definitely in the wrong in terms of her timing. They have literally just got engaged. At least give them a week or something to enjoy the engagement and then bring up the conversation. Do you see what I'm saying? She definitely rushed it way too soon. But either way though, I get it and I respect it.
Just asking, you know.
I feel like Jackie has her heart in the right place. She wants to look after Aaliyah, but I would never leave Aaliyah high and dry.
I mean, listen, Jackie makes abundantly clear that Aaliyah is young. Aaliyah obviously hasn't really been through the same experiences that Sean has had. You know, is very new to relationships as well. So Aaliyah definitely does need someone to be able to help her out, you know what I mean? Because it would be I think it'd be very different if Aaliyah was in a relationship with somebody her own age, because therefore they've got a chance of growing together and learning things together. You see what I'm saying? But because she's in a big age gap with Sean over here, there's a lot of things that he knows and a lot of things that Aaliyah doesn't know. So therefore, it was quite crucial and important for the friend to speak up, because therefore, you know, it would be a damn shame if Sean was to take advantage of Aaliyah. I don't believe he would, but it'd be a damn shame if he did.
You like have control on me because you have the things, because you have the money, because you have the place.
So here's the thing, Aaliyah is now speaking up, is now having a few little concerns, or at least voicing the fact that, listen, once I move to the LA with you, I'm going to be financially viable on you. And to be honest, I don't know if I like that, because that's going to put me in a position where you're going to have control over me. You know, because the fact is, if I need anything, I have to come to you. I can't do it without your approval. And it's a fair point. But here's the thing, Sean says, so far in our relationship, has there been at any point that I have used the money that I have to control you? Aaliyah said no. But before we elaborate on that one, let's continue.
And I'm afraid moving to the US and being financially dependent of Sean will take away some of my power.
Now here's the thing. Yes, it would potentially take away some of her power. Actually, it would take some of her power. You know, that's something that cannot be denied to the slightest. But I will say this though. There's a few things that have to be said here. Despite the fact that this shows that Aaliyah is in this relationship for the long term, it doesn't necessarily mean that Aaliyah isn't still with him because of the financial power that he has, because we know from what we've seen that he pays for the majority of the things. But also at the same time, though, I do wonder this very interesting thing. Does Aaliyah not plan on working once she's able to get the green card? Or the work visa, shall I say? Because really and truly, if you know that you're going to end up getting a work visa at some point and you're going to work, then you wouldn't really have these worries. So the fact that this conversation is actually being had, or at least, you know, it's been had in terms of being afraid he's going to control you, well, that kind of tells me that maybe you don't plan on working like ever. And Aaliyah did also speak about how she has always been codependent on her grandparents as well. So there's also that flip side. Do you see what I'm saying, okay? Now, I will say this though. Despite the fact that Sean said, hey, So far in our relationship, we have not had any issues with me looking after you financially. There's never been any point that I've controlled you. The only thing that I'm going to add to that is that let's look at the environment. Each time that you have come to see Leah in Brazil and whatnot, you have been on vacation. You haven't been working. So therefore, you've been in a position where your mind has been relaxed. Once Leah comes to the States, living in LA, and you're busy working all the time, the dynamic will change. Whether it will change for the worse or for the better, that is unclear. But either way, the point being is that sometimes in life, when you remove the environment you're in and you go into a new one, it can change exactly how things are going to be treated. So if Sean's going to be in a situation where he's always working, but then he's going to have a Leo always saying, "Hey, can I have this, please? Oh, hey, can you send me this, please? Oh, hey, that stuff could potentially become overwhelming if you are in a position where you are now having headaches from work as well. So that's something that also has to be thought about too, to be honest with you. So, yeah, because environments are always key to how we behave and how we react. That's something that we cannot avoid. You see what I'm saying? But nonetheless, though, I do hope that things aren't gonna be that different. You know, given the fact that when they do go to LA, hopefully this control power thing won't happen. But I will say this though, going back to the fact that it seems to me as if maybe Aaliyah plans to never work, I would say that's a bad idea. Reason being is because, in my opinion, personally, I always say that it is important for both people in a relationship to both be working. Even if it means that one is working full-time and the other one's working part-time, it doesn't matter. As long as you're both working, I always say that, because you see, if you know that you can still bring in money and you know that you can still work, it will remove the element of you feeling like as if you are trapped in that relationship. And also remove the element of you feeling like somebody else has the power, because if you're able to earn your own money and spend your own money now, at least therefore you're not reliant on that person. Do you see what I'm saying? Even if the other person who's earning the most is still paying for all the bills, blah, 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 at least if you got your job and your job involves you then being able to pay for the things that you want, and also, treating him every now and then to do a little saying, you know what I'm saying? Okay. At least you know that you got the power to work for yourself. You got the power to work, to earn, and to spend your own money, instead of being reliant on waiting on him to work, get his paycheck, and be like, "Hey babe, so can you send me this, please? Hey, where's the bank card?" Nah, don't do that. You'll be put in a position where you are trapped. You're going to be put in a position where power play will become a thing. At some point, whoever's earning the most, or whoever's dominating in the area will end up being like, hey. And that's when the control happens. And that's something that you want to avoid. But nonetheless, though, let's get into the next one.
I want to believe all the bad things is behind us, and this trip will be about us love.
When Madeline said this whole thing about, "I want this trip to be bloody da," this is all I was hearing. All I was hearing is that I want this trip to go well, and I want him to never, ever bring up the prenup ever again. That's all I was hearing, to be honest with you. Because we know that when he brought up the prenup last episode, she was not happy. She lost her freaking cool. Nonetheless, though, let's see what else went down with these two in this episode.
Months ago, there was a rumor going around that Madeleine had hooked up with another guy.
Just to clarify, this was 6 months ago, he said, okay? There was rumor around that she was doing a madness with another guy. And because of this, it's now making him nervous about what his friend has to say, because right now he has said that his friend has got information about what Madeleine has been doing. And that's obviously something that we're going to be talking about next week, because obviously that's when they're going to actually, obviously release that information. Well, they did do the preview, but we'll be able to get the full story next week. You see what I'm saying? But here's the thing, though. If you're telling me that he knows, or he's heard in the past, that Madeleine was out here moving mad, allegedly, with what he said 6 months ago, why the hell was he still in this relationship? That is wild. But hey, he said that Madeleine denied it. Okay then, whatever.
Make a leap of faith with me. I will continue to sacrifice and try to give you everything that I could possibly.
Before we even get into the reaction that she gives in a second about him using the word sacrifice, the whole time she was on her phone while he was talking. That shiz is hella rude.
You think this relationship is a sacrifice?
Everything so that I can buy an apartment here, to get my visa so that I can move here to be with you. I didn't have to do that.
let me say less.
Something
Correct.
you make the
Yes,
decision.
and
So
I
when
also-
you make to do something, it's not a sacrifice.
In order to make it work, I had to
How
do
you
things.
talk to me? When you gonna to learn to respect to me? When?
It's quite interesting, isn't it? He's trying to talk, but she's interrupting him every second or so. So therefore, his voice is going to get elevated. I wouldn't say that he was shouting. I wouldn't say he was getting aggressive. I would say his voice would get elevated so he can get his point across. But because he does that, of course she did. She completely slams him down. This is the thing that I don't understand in this relationship, right? How is this guy 30 years of age, but he's being like, what's the word I'm looking for here? This is probably the wrong word, but he's being manhandled by a 19-year-old. The logic doesn't make sense to me. Like, how is it that she's got so much power, so much authority, so much attitude that he tolerates in this relationship when he's the one that's 30 and he's the one that should be setting the standard? He should be the one that be saying, hey, when I'm talking, you shouldn't be talking, okay? You should be respecting me when I'm talking, and once I finish talking, then you can say what you got to say. That's what you should be doing. You should be putting his foot down. Get that backbone. Use that masculine freaking energy. Do you see what I'm saying? Because really and truly, it shouldn't even get to this point here where she's now saying, when you gonna respect me? And the crazy thing about it is that when she says what she says, she elevates her own freaking voice with a tint of frustration. Let me not use aggression, too powerful, frustration. Just see what I'm saying? So it's like, oh, so you can do it, but I can't. This is what I'm saying. But either way, though, the situation could have been avoided if the 30-year-old at earlier in the stage of the relationship said, listen, when I talk, you listen. Don't interrupt me. Don't say anything. When I talk, I talk. But hey, I guess putting his foot down is not one of his best traits.
You make the decision to sell you out, so don't come here to tell me it's a sacrifice.
I mean, listen, to be honest with you, this whole thing could be down to language barrier, you know what I mean? Because I feel like the way she's interpreting the word sacrifice is way too deep, you know? Like, but generally speaking, we all say that, you know? At the end of the day, we all know that when it comes to relationships in this world, whether it's a relationship with our partner, a relationship with our kids, a relationship with our family, there are sacrifices that sometimes we make for whatever purpose. Do you know what I mean? But we do not ever use the word sacrifice in a way that means negative. There's always in a way that it means positive. That, hey, I was willing. When somebody says I sacrificed this thing, like, it's different if how can I put it? I willingly sacrificed this thing because I felt like this was going to be the great good of our relationship. There's no negative behind that. She needs to humble herself. But at the same time, that if it's a language barrier, he needs to educate her. But he's not doing that. Useless.
Do you think I support you? And I always help you in everything.
Because I think that I am the best opportunity that you have.
Best opportunity, you think I have it?
This guy is a funny dude. Oh my days. Man fully said that. But this is the thing that I don't understand about this freaking clown. From the very first episode, he made it abundantly clear that this woman does not love him conditionally for the most part. And he made it abundantly clear that he thinks that she's with him because of the money. Then he hears that this girl was doing a madness 6 months ago, but is still in a relationship with her. Brings up a prenup. She wasn't looking to hear none of that. Now he wants to say opportunity. So you know that you feel that this woman is not with you because of you. She's with you because of what you provide. So why the hell are you still freaking here? You dick. Yeah, whatever.
Do you think I see you like opportunity?
When you love someone, you never say that.
She isn't lying though. She's not lying. When you love somebody, you wouldn't say that. And to be fair, that's how she should be sitting there and being like, you know what? Based on what you just said, you don't love me. So based on what you just said, I'm out. I'm not going to stick around. But here's the thing. If she's sticking around now, she's sticking around because really and truly she is with him because of the mullah. You know what I'm saying? But if she said, no, I'm bouncing because I don't want to be disrespected like this. I don't want to be seen as somebody that's being with someone for their assets. Then she should leave him because really and truly, if you flip it, right? If you flip it and you're now Madeline in this conversation, I would be feeling hella disrespected. You keep referencing to the fact that I'm with you for money. What do I need to do to prove to you that I'm not with you for money? But you keep doing it. That is so disrespectful. That makes me feel like XYZ. So you know what? With that being said, I'm done. I'm out. Go find someone else who can tolerate, who's going to willingly tolerate your BS. That's what she should be doing. But nah, she's staying around because she enjoys it. Yeah? And he's staying around because he's a moron. Idiots.
Oh, I am an opportunity with you. You think I stay with you for money or what?
Well, if he could answer that question with his chest and say yes, that would be brilliant. Will he do that? Of course not.
Time thinking, and I realized that donating, people just need me for one reason, and that's making a baby. Whereas Annie needs me for a relationship, and I think that's pretty meaningful to me.
It's funny that, isn't it? If that is meaningful to you, then why is it we are still experiencing the same conversation every single episode? And the same conversation is, when are you going to stop donating? When are you going to care about me? And he always has an excuse and a reason why he wants to continue doing X, Y, Z. So if he's going to say what he just said right there, really and truly giving up you going being a donor sperm and all that kind of malarkey, it would be as easy as 1, 2, 3. But for some reason, you just can't let it go. Let's explain that, right? You know when people say something, but there is no action behind what they're saying, because everything that they're saying is nothing but just manipulation or just BS. But we continue.
It is so difficult to find someone you can truly connect and love, and I believe I found that.
I have no comment. I just wanted to pause it just so we can let that marinate for a second. She believes that she's found it. Wow. The same person that you keep telling to stop donating, and he keeps telling you that he's going to donate anyway. All right, cool. Love it.
Kyle made me thinking that our connection is all that matters. I'm trying to give this relationship every opportunity to make it work.
So here's the thing. Her friend says the connection's all that matters, so therefore she's still trying to make this relationship work, regardless of the fact that she feels as if her leg is already out of the door. Here's the thing. I was once upon a time told by a friend that, hey, if she likes you and she's into you and she wants you, keep going. Keep trying. After taking this advice, this information, I listened to it. I came back about a month later, I think. I said to my guy, you know what you said to me? Yeah, that was the best, but also the worst advice you ever gave me. Reason being is because, you see, it would have been the best advice given the fact that I was dealing with somebody that was going to show a change, you see what I'm saying? But I wasn't, and I knew this myself. But I was like, but let me give things a chance though, because it's been a minute since I've given things a chance, you know what I'm saying? That's the grand scheme of it. So I gave things a chance based on that. But you know what I neglected to tell myself? Actually, no, I didn't neglect, sorry. But you know what I was already aware of, and I was even consciously aware of it, but I said, you know what, but let me just give it a chance because you never know. It was the fact that even given it a chance, things were never going to improve regardless. So going back to what I said before, it was the best, but also the worst advice ever. The reason why it's the best is because it's the best advice if it's with the right person, somebody that you can actually feel like things are going to get better. It's the worst advice if it's with somebody that you feel like, you know what, things aren't going to get better. And that was just the grand scheme of my story. I just felt like it wasn't going to get better, but I gave it a chance anyway, which is what made me say what I said to him in the end, you know what I'm saying? So, really and truly, the friend's advice is not bad advice, but it's just the wrong advice in her current relationship here. Because we can all see that this relationship isn't even a relationship. But nonetheless, though, that's just my thoughts and my opinions as I observe, you know what I mean? Because as far as I'm concerned, I've seen no love connection. So as far as I'm concerned, I've seen no natural connection. You know, as far as I'm concerned, all I've seen is somebody turn up and say, hey, I'm now going to give you these challenges, these obstacles to be able to get closer to me. But whilst I'm giving you all these orders and all of these challenges and whatnot, I'm going to disobey everything that you want from me though. Because this is going to be a one-sided relationship. I'm still going to go off and do my sperm donor situation. But in the meantime, you need to get points just to get a cuddle, just to get a kiss, just to get a little bit, Wow. Nonetheless, though, let me know what you're thinking down below in the comment section and we can talk about it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and of course, peace.